The Elephant Child. In the darkest room of the marble temple, voices could be heard. They were deep and resonant, and they carried through the palm trees and across the river. A little black crow was attracted by the noise, flapping his little black wings up and down, till at last he alighted on a branch of the temple's ancient banyan tree. He cocked his little black head to the side and listened, and looked into the temple for, as you know, little black crows are very curious creatures. The voices came from the big black elephants with big tusks and long, long trunks. The elephants were talking as softly as they could in their deep voices, but the crow caught it all, for, as you know, the little black crow's ears are very sharp. They were all excited about something. The little black crow was excited too. He hopped once on his right foot, he hopped once on his left foot, and he found himself on the windowsill of the temple, his feathers all rumpled from excitement. He craned his little black head forward, and even though his ears were as sharp as only crow ears could be, he was hardly able to pick out the smallest voice. It belonged to a little gray elephant, and as you know, little gray elephants have very large ears. In fact, his were so big that they made the rest of him look small. And this is never good, especially if you're not that big to start with. The little gray elephant child was trying his very best to be heard. He trumpeted and shouted, and only stopped when a big elephant told him to hush. The crow felt sorry for him. The big elephants were talking about taking part in a festival the next day. One of them said she would wear a red gold cloth made from fibers of rare reeds from the mangrove swamp on his broad, broad back. And another proclaimed that she would have a sheet of shiny gold on her trunk. They were all so happy for themselves that nobody but the little black crow noticed the elephant child at all. Lifting his ebony wings, the little black crow sailed away through the air, determined to do something. The next morning, the sun's glad light shone on the sleeping form of the elephant child. His ears spread out, fanning him as he dozed standing up, for, as you know, elephant ears are very useful. He opened his wide black eyes and he felt the feet of the little black crow on his back. The crow said, "Come with me, little one!" The sad little elephant child stood up and dashed his trunk to the ground in despair. "All the others have gone to the festival and I have been left behind," he wailed, "for I am too small by far to be seen in the parade." To this the crow replied, "We have things to do and places to see," he proclaimed, "and we don't need a procession to be seen." So he and the little gray elephant child left the sunny place by the temple and headed for the great mango tree by the swamp. "Is it very far away?" the elephant child asked. "You will see." They came through shady paths, eating bananas that fell ripe and yellow through the green, green leaves of the trees, either through the incessant pecking of the little black crow or pulled down by the trunk of the elephant child. Soon they came upon the great mango tree. "Here it is, friend, not far at all." The elephant child then saw the most wondrous sight. There were children everywhere, and when they saw him, they let out screams of joy. He was hesitant at first, as all careful elephant children are. He stood there swaying gently from side to side, snorting softly and moving his wiggly trunk about. "Go on, friend," urged the crow with soft and incessant pecks. When he did, he found that the children were not going to hurt him, but fuss over him. "Look at his trunk!" His trunk was expected from every angle, children giggling when they felt the occasional breeze. "See his ears!" His prominent ears were appraised as they waggled back and forth. "Feel his skin!" Small hands rubbed the prickly little hairs on his sides and back. They fed him rice balls, coconut meat, sugar cane, and mangoes, till his little tummy was fit to burst. The day wore on. Eventually, a few pecks on the head reminded him that it was time to go. As he left, the children followed him till he was out of sight. None of them would forget that afternoon. It was late when the elephant child got back. The big elephants had returned, and they were cross about their day. They were not fed at all, they complained. They had to march and stand in the hot sun. The people played loud music next to their sensitive ears. The elephants grumbled and snorted and threw dust in the air. The elephant child just smiled quietly with his new friend, the little black crow.